Let me draw some examples of brickwork which I believe demonstrate 6 very common mistakes in drawing bricks on brick structures. After that, I'll show what I think of is a more helpful way to tackle the often difficult situation of how should we portray bricks. Here's the first problem. These rows of bricks don't conform to the perspective that we need for this building. I'll show you in the final drawing how to conform to that would look with this scene. The second problem I so often see is one of scale. These bricks are way too large for a cottage this size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You wouldn't find a doorway that's only 12 bricks high. Now, again, there are two problems that I've drawn into this depiction of bricks on the front wall. The first is, and this is surprisingly common, though I have exaggerated it slightly just to make the point, is that so often with these vertical lines, as they move across, they start to tilt. And it comes from not moving our whole arm across as we draw, but from pivoting on the wrist, especially for these small details. This can very easily happen, and it may not happen to this degree, although I've certainly seen it, but even a slight leaning takes away from the reality of the effect that we're trying to create. The other problem I see with these vertical lines is simply that they don't line up with the horizontal lines. And if I'm going to start to draw the bricks, I need to draw them in a way that they look as if they could be real. Now for the final couple of our problematic brickwork renderings, and then a look at a possibly better solution. And there are two new problems, as well as a couple of the ones we've looked at with this. The first focus is simply that so much brickwork has been drawn so heavily that the brickwork overwhelms the drawing, quite regardless of whether it's accurately drawn. In terms of when we glance at this cottage, the brickwork is the overwhelming thing that we see. It overwhelms the features of the cottage, such as the windows and doors and the veranda, which in life are far more visually prominent. So we create an artificial effect. The second thing is that this drawing hasn't particularly allowed for foreshortening. Foreshortening means that things look more compressed as they move further away. So the bricks on this wall particularly will become compressed, will look narrower as they move away. We would never get this where the closest and furthest brick are the same width if the bricks were actually the same size. We would have something far more like this happening. So with those 6 problems having been focused on, let's look at a more effective way. Something that's more like this. So similarly to the effect with the corrugated iron on the roof, we're not trying to draw all the detail that we could see in a reference, but to create the effect. The things that I've particularly done here that we didn't see in our first drawings were the horizontal lines of the brickwork match the perspective angles. The top one is the top perspective angle of the wall. The bottom one follows the bottom perspective angles of the walls, and in between they fan between the two. Secondly, the scale is one that looks appropriate for the size of a brick. Number 3, though, I haven't tried to draw all the bricks because I don't want the brickwork to overwhelm the cottage, and I've even kept the lines I've used intentionally lighter than the ones for the actual structure of the cottage. And you'll see too that the marks I've used for the vertical brickwork, I haven't been super fussy about those. The horizontal lines actually are more significant for something looking right. And if I start to, if you like, cross all my T's with horizontal and vertical lines, then that locks me into having to be visually precise in a way that probably for a sketch I'm not going to have time for. I'm trying to create the effect, not draw the exactness. So my lines are often just dots, especially when the bricks are further away. I'm just capturing the shadows in some of the corners. But what we do have is some sense of the fact that the bricks up here are wider than the bricks down here. I have more marks closer together to create that effect of foreshortening. Please hit the like button if you found this helpful. G'day, I'm Stephen Travers. Bricks don't need to be the problem they are. We simply need to release ourselves from the burden of having to draw them all and see them as creating a visual effect that we can find marks to create that same effect. But hey, whatever you draw, bricks or no bricks, every bricks or very few bricks, make sure you have fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.